As soon as you learn what those baby seedlings look like, and you don't want it for years to be a problem, then you need to cull it. Right there is where I planted some llama beans. I think I just did this. Yeah, that's a habanero that succumbed to the frost. And right there are 2 tomatoes that succumbed to the frost. More llama beans that aren't growing. And right here, that's, check it out. That's the celery that hasn't been eaten by the animals yet. More llama beans that aren't growing yet, but I just put those in, and from what I understand, llama beans need it to be really hot. Chocolate bell pepper, llama bean, chocolate bell pepper, a soaked llama. That's what I did, is the ones I soaked and sprouted, I separated. I think I relabeled them. And then what I like is this cattle panel. So the cattle panel I use now instead of a trellis or anything like that. And like, I really like this. These are 8 inches apart. So, 3 of them is 24 feet. So I really like that. And then you just tie you can tie the tomatoes onto that, or the peppers, or as they grow, you can just weave the tomato through there. But sometimes tomatoes grow a foot overnight. So you got to really keep on it, and it's so difficult for me to keep on it. Sage plant that needs severely cut back. Creeping Charlie, beautiful plant. Did you know it's edible? Yeah, I kind of don't worry about this so much, because what I do like about it is it will overtake an area, but then it's so easy to pull out, and it keeps other things from growing. And how about this thing? Who knows what this is? The minute you touch it, these seeds fly everywhere. See if you can see. I mean, I can even hear them and see them. You can't pull that out. I don't know what it is, but I try to eradicate it, but unfortunately it's hard. And this wasn't here last year. I have 2 spots where something dug a huge hole, and I did see, not a hole, but burrowed. I haven't found the hole close or within the garden, but I did find 2 big mounds, and that's not a mole doing that. And I did find a groundhog go running under one of the outbuildings here, and so I set the trap, which got me involved into a large discussion with my grandson on what I'm going to do with it after I trap it. So, I didn't tell him the truth. I don't have the heart to yet. He's 7. What do you want me to say? And there's some garlic that's growing from last year, and more mint. I will eradicate those little boogers, and then oregano, which will take over. And I'm okay with that too. You go ahead and take over all you want. Oregano, rosemary, I think thyme. There's some herbs that you can grow that actually help keep insects away. So I'll go ahead and plant them and pull them out as I need space, to plant or to use them. This section is my lazy section. I haven't even entered it, and I probably haven't entered it because that side, I haven't come from that side at all, because all those fences that I was supposed to make the gates out of are still leaning up against the sides here. And this was too much to move and to get over there, so that one's gonna have to wait. And then let's come over to this one. Random tulip showing up, more oregano. I think this is arrowwood. That's an arrowwood bush. I'm pretty sure that is an aronia. That's not the arrowwood, is it? I have to get my husband on here because I have some other trees that need identified, and he's a great person to identify these plants. He looks them up. I mean, I can look them up and things stare me right in the face and I still can't tell them apart. Like this maple right here, I can tell you it's not a Norway maple, but I don't believe it's a sugar maple either. I will take pictures and identify it, but even if it is a sugar maple, it's huge. I've cut it back so many times. It can't be here in the middle of my garden. Another volunteer peach tree that's mid-thigh high. Yeah. Look at that. I found this the other day. It's some sort of succulent with all these beautiful flowers on it. So I have to take that, separate it into other pots and maybe plant some somewhere. And over here, now we're getting into what I have started to clean up. This, you can't really tell, I'm sure, but this right about there starts to go downhill, almost 8 inches down. So it needs a lot more, what are those called? Wood chips. If I'm going to bring it up level. But we're not really going to bring it up level because too much, because when we put the cattle panels on here, we actually had to put them kind of down at an angle, because otherwise we'd have had 8 inches of space underneath the cattle panels, which would have allowed for vermin to come through. One thing I will tell you I won't use again is this green hex plastic crap. Rabbits, groundhogs, something. I'm thinking it was a rabbit because the hole was small, not like larger. It was almost tiny. They chewed through it. So even after I secured it extremely well with all these zip ties, one every like 6 inches down and like all the way across, now I've got to go through and cut them out, and that really doesn't make me happy, simply because I won't allow them to just lay in the garden. So now I've got to, that after I cut them, then I've got to be careful to, you know, get them thrown away and not just laying around the yard. That just aggravates me to no end. Kind of the same reason I'm mad at myself for painting all those things, because the paint chips. So let's see what we have here. I've got some sweet banana peppers. Some, I say Cuban, even though they're not technically Cuban, they're Cubanelles. That's what we call them. And my husband loves them. So I just write Cuban on the tag. Another thing I really liked about these cattle panels is what I did last year. I had a roll of painter's tape that we weren't using, so I used it to label these here. You can see all these little blue tags. Those are last year's tags. But what don't I like is now that I've ripping them off, and I've got this little piece left here, and this obviously, by the end of the day, I usually have my pockets full of trash. Pile of weeds I didn't get to remove. Another peeper plant. Tomato. What did I plant there? That's a red cherry tomato. That's a bucket of that azomite, the A to Z of minerals, including trace elements. I used that a couple times. I actually think it did help rejuvenate one of my apple trees that was like ancient, probably 40, 50, 60 years old, because I had 3 huge apple trees here when I moved here in 1988. We got rid of one because it was in the middle of the yard. This used to be an orchard where I live. 2 of them are still surviving, just got hit by lightning. Let me see if you can see them from here. Right there they are behind the horse shelter turned garage. Right there. And I've tried to air layer them. I need to get some cuttings because it's a really old variety of apple, and I'd love to save that to get a couple new trees from that. So right there is a beefsteak that succumbed to the frost. Beefsteak succumbed to frost. Jalapeno, jalapeno. Lots of jalapenos because my daughter and son-in-law love jalapeno poppers. Although I told her last year I wasn't putting in so many jalapenos. This year I had like 12 or 13 jalapeno plants for her, and she came one time to pick jalapenos. Once. 13 plants. Not happening again. So what did I do? Yeah, I have 6. That's still too many. She probably won't. These flowers, I love this. I don't know what they are. They're similar to a forget-me-not. Maybe it is a wild forget-me-not. I don't know, but I like these a lot. That's not chickweed. That's chickweed. Right? Am I right? Where's that chickweed? 2. Yep, don't know. Don't think so. I don't know. So there we go. There's more of those things where the seeds pop off. This whole row needs planted. And that's it. I am so sorry. This turned out to be a video about cuttings that I was cutting off, and it turned into a garden tour, which turned into a yard tour, which turned into, how long is this? Oh my Lanta, a 43-minute video. Maybe I'll try to cut it in half so that I don't torture anyone. Maybe I'll upload it and see what you do. All right, guys, that's it. I'm done for the day. Let me know any questions. Let me know if you want any of my plants. And I don't mind sharing. I sell a lot of them. If you are in the area, like if you are located near Pittsburgh and you watch my video and you want to pop on out and visit, I do trades. You know, in the true prepper fashion. All right, guys, that's it. And there's my final shot of the garden. Be blessed, everyone. And let me know how your garden's coming along.